Let me just double check everything's live here. All right, we are officially live, and I am joined today by a special guest that I've been trying to get on for quite a long time now. I'm joined by Grande Top 10, one of the most prolific music and Ariana Grande posters on X right now. Grande, how are you doing? Great to have you join us.
I'm good, sir. It's good to be here. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We were talking about this before. Just got back from Whole Foods, having a good weekend. We got some NFL games on, but you know, a lot of people might look at you and just looking at your account, they would think you're just a regular, Ariana Grande fan, music fan.
Yep.
But in reality, you are a what I would call a absolute music sharp. Um, your profit keeps growing every time I check it. It was 40K before, and now it's 42K. Um,
Yep.
so maybe to start, do you want to give for the people tuning in like a little bit of your background, like how you got into? I mean, first like posting, on X. I know you're on other socials as well and have a pretty big following. And then how you got into trading these markets on Kalshi.
Yeah. So I've always been obsessed with music charts like my entire life. And the whole Ariana Grande fan thing started when she released Problem. I just kind of got hooked right after that. And then she dropped her album My Everything, and I created my YouTube channel, which I solely made as a charts channel to chart with my own formula what my top 10 Ariana Grande songs were of the week. And then that expanded into like my top 10 songs of the week. So I've been obsessed with music charts for years and years and years and years. And I started to get a following on Twitter because I was able to project that Yes and would go number one with the exact sales that it did. And I've kind of kept growing my profile since then. I'm a verified projector. The community knows me as that. I predicted We Can't Be Friends would be number one before anyone else did. I projected that Eternal Sunshine would have 227K sales back in January, so 2 months before it was released, and it had 225K. So I've always been very, very accurate with chart projecting. And when Ariana Grande was against Jack Harlow with Lovin' on Me for the number one with Yes and, I was like, okay, I got to go public with my numbers because I can help the community out. And I did. And I helped Ariana get that number one. So that's kind of my background, how I started
So
gaining interest with Ariana charts and
how many years
followers.
is that now for like following these charts like as close as you do?
Oh, I want to say like it's probably been like 12 years since like I started. Like I was a young kid when I first started um looking at the charts and everything. It's always kind of been my niche. So I want to say like 12 years I've been like actually doing it like for fun or seriously as like a side hobby.
And when I guess when did the Grande Top 10 on Kalshi start? When did you start actually trading these markets?
In October 2024, I joined because I wanted to bet on the election.
Really?
And then I did,
Politics brought
yeah,
you in.
yeah, yeah. And I had no, I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to bet. And then time passed, and I realized that there were music markets, and I was like, no way, I can make money off of this. So I started taking it like seriously. I want to say like when the new year came. So I've been doing it seriously since like January of this year.
And can I ask, like, how much did you start with when you started taking it seriously? Because you're up to like 42K profit now. Um,
Yeah, I put in $1,000 just to experiment everything with, and then I started with 1,000. Once I was comfortable that I knew what I was doing, I added 3K to it so I could start getting like notable profits and stuff, and the rest is history.
So you legitimately basically 4K is like your starting port on here for like since you
Yeah.
started taking dang. So that's like that's at least a 10x. That's pretty
Yes, it
crazy
is.
in less than a
It's kind of
year.
wild. Yeah, I know. It's wild. Very grateful for it.
Yeah. So I mean obviously it makes a lot of sense trading music markets like given your background. I did a post today and maybe like one of the reasons I love Grande Top 10 is not only is he posting about his music plays, but his positions, and I recommend everybody do this, are fully public, just like
Yeah.
mine are. So we can literally see what is Grande Top 10 holding right now. And I talked about one of these markets today when I was talking about the comment section, and that is the Thriller by Michael Jackson top 10 on Billboard Hot 100 chart for the week of November 15th. This is currently up to 90%. Do you want to maybe like you have almost $15,000 on this market. Do you want to like give a high level of like what this market is, why you're so confident on it, and maybe like what people are missing about this market?
Yeah, I mean, I got in at like around 38 cents, and then I started continuously trading and buying and buying and buying more and more and more just because it's super evident. I mean, there is an account called Talk of the Charts. If you don't know it, you should give them a follow. They're the most accurate chart projectors for the Hot 100 in history. They had Thriller in the top 10. I can always kind of get it before they post, like I know what they're going to do. But you can see right there that Thriller is going to be number 9 in their midweeks. It could go down to number 10, but it's social distancing from number 11. So that's about 16 points, which is about 16,000 sales Sombra would need to get in order to beat Thriller, which is not going to happen, and the tracking week is now over. So they should post sometime today, maybe late tonight, that Thriller is going to officially be in the top 10. It's just so evident. The streams that they got, that Michael Jackson got just from Hollow Weekend, is enough for him to be in the top 10 with just that. It would be a little closer, but he added another million streams like throughout the week. So it's a lock just from streaming alone. Sale boost a little bit on Halloween, and he has about 7 or 8 million airplay. So that's just a nice bonus. If you take that airplay completely away, he still gets the top 10.
So I guess you bring up Talk of the Charts, who, as you mentioned, is one of the best predictors, maybe behind yourself on these charts. What else, like, I'm curious, like, data points are you looking at? Like, is it largely looking at, like, what other predictors are kind of saying, like, for where these charts are going to land? Or are you looking at the granular level yourself of, like, streaming data? What kind of data is out there? Can you get day-by-day streaming data? And, like, if so, like, when are you even able to get it versus, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not somebody
Yeah.
who knows these markets very well, so I'm just,
Yeah.
like, curious.
So because I've done this for so many years, I can kind of estimate like the amount of streams that it's going to have across everything. That's how I knew Yes and would go number one before other people did. It's just a whole like point breakdown. I normally like to look at Spotify as a good indicator because all those streams are public day to day. That can give you a good indication on the how well a song is doing. And then you can check other platforms. The other platforms do not have stream counts, but they do have chart positioning. So you can kind of estimate it based on that to see how many streams a song is going to have by the
Got
end of the
it.
week.
Because I guess, like, you have Spotify, which I assume is, like, the complete biggest, and then Apple Music, which I assume doesn't give granular stream data, but will give you ranking data.
Yep.
And then are there any other, like, big ones you look at outside of, like, Spotify and Apple Music?
Amazon Music
Amazon?
for holiday seasons always look at Amazon Music, that's the strongest platform for holiday seasons for streaming. And then if you're looking at something like Golden, like K-pop Demon Hunters, you're going to want to look at YouTube Music as well. Because if you look at YouTube Music, you'll see that it has the number 1 and 2 position with the same song, which is Golden right now. So that boosts its streams a lot. It's currently getting more streams than Fate of Ophelia, even though she is leading on Apple Music and Spotify.
So Spotify will give you granular stream data, and then you have Apple Music will give you rankings. Amazon and YouTube Music, I think, are they similar there, where they just give you rankings, or is
Correct.
okay? And then like obviously, I don't think you'd know the exact, but like for Talk of the Charts, I guess are they looking
Mhm.
at that same information? Do you know like what? Because you're obviously a top predictor yourself on these things. Like, are they for the most part looking at this streaming data as well to kind of come in with their projections?
Yeah, I mean they're the best to do it. They predict every single placement for all 100 songs
Yeah.
in their final projections. So I obviously don't have all the resources to do that. So I focus on numbers 1 and 2, and then whatever is on Kalshi, I will put that in my focus. And that's kind of how I go about it.
So the other thing I want to say, because like I don't know if you caught the stream, but I had a stream a few days ago too with Esoteric Catboy, who is, because
Yeah.
I come from more of a mention market background. And like we were
Yep.
talking about this right before we turned on the stream, but like I'm sure that you find things, Phantom saying need to get this stream taken down, too much alpha. Uh, but, you know, I, I think you probably feel the same way about a lot of these culture markets that I'll feel about mentions sometimes, where you just find things that you know are like so mispriced. So I feel
Yeah.
like Esoteric Cowboy is talking about it, where when he's going to expand outside of mentions, the next thing he'd want to go into is probably culture. And I kind of feel the same way because
Yeah.
I think it's like, these are pretty liquid, pretty high volume markets, more so than a lot of mentions, but they're not that deep to where, as you can probably find, they're not extremely efficient.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, your thoughts on like what is happening in these markets to where like you can see in the comment section everybody is going crazy on no shares. And I think for
Oh.
people not aware as well, we had the Taylor Swift markets a few weeks ago
Yes.
where it was like the same thing now, where it's like you basically already know, if you're somebody who's really in the know, that these are already going to resolve a certain way, and still people are
Correct.
putting thousands of dollars on one side and fighting in the comment section.
Crazy. I think I think culture markets, a lot of people like to go in with their own bias, and they're not looking at it from a data-driven perspective. So they're going in and they're seeing, oh, Halloween was only 1 day of this tracking week, and it didn't have like that whole lead up like that it had last year with Halloween being on a Friday. So it's definitely not gonna, or Thursday. So it's definitely not gonna get it. They're not looking at the data in which it's already secured and it's a lock, which is why I DM'd you and I was like, hey, like, here's some alpha, I love sharing the wealth.
Yeah, I am a holder in this market, guys. I'm not selling until resolution. I'm not, and neither is Grande, because it's like you can't, when you have these big of position sizes. I know you're aware of that. It's like you can't dump 15,000 shares. But yeah, I mean, so it sounds like what you're saying is just like people are trying to explain this through some just vibes rather than looking at the data, which the data is already out there. And I mean, it's like you can only say so much. I mean, I'm scrolling through this and all I see in the comment section, just like the Taylor markets, is no holders. And look at this, guys. Grande tried explaining exactly what the argument was for, and he gets. I genuinely feel bad for everyone who's giving me free money by saying, no, genuinely, please stop. It's a locker top 10. You are not understanding charts at all. And
I tried.
he tried. Look at this. 52 comment responses.
Oh, people are so bullish.
I tried to get these people on the stream too.
I know. I was hoping that they would respond. As soon as I saw that you responded, I hopped in like immediately because I got the notification, obviously, because it's under my thing. I was like, yes, get him. But one of the guys that already commented on me, to me, all of his stuff is deleted and now because he knows that I'm right. So
Oh, I see
it's
it.
ironic. Yep. And
Yep.
so all my replies are still there, and it looks like I'm talking to myself, and he was responding over and over and over and over and over again. And then Semper Trades had my back, which I appreciated, and a couple other people as well.
Shout out Semper
Yeah.
Trades. Phantom is saying the problem with music markets is the answer is already known. People shouldn't be wasting money on this. They can lose it and mention markets have more fun. Yeah, you're right. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, if people are gonna throw money at something, like even in mention markets, a word will explicitly be said, and people will try to debate in the comments that it wasn't said,
Crazy.
and I'll just throw up a 10,000 share limit buy at 95 cents and get filled. And
Yeah.
it's like somebody's gonna do it. You know what I mean? Do I feel great about it? That I'm, but like, you know how, like, what am I expected to do? Yeah, shout out Semper for backing up in the comments. Hopefully he got a big bag of this position in here too.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed for him that he got some of that. But yeah, they were very upset with me that I told them that I was taking their money, so please stop. Oh, look, now I'm up to 42.34K.
Yeah, people have been buying yes for sure. Listening to your argument, you know, and that's what I love is you know, it's not pumping a position. You're just explaining your rationale that people review
Yeah,
independently, and it's like that's why I wanted to have that guy on too. Is like my goal that I've been trying to put together for a while is to have a big market where two people are counterparties and have them debate it live, and then it's like
would be so cool.
whoever does better in the argument it'll pump their side versus the other. I feel like that'd be
That'd be
um,
so fun.
so. I'm curious. You mentioned you started picking up shares in this market when it was all the way down to like 37 cents. Like,
Yeah,
how do you look at these culture markets? Like, there's you know there's terms that people use to describe themselves sometimes when looking at like types of traders on prediction markets, and a lot of the terms are like somebody might be a news trader. So I would
Mhm.
imagine like as it relates to culture, maybe talk of the charts releases something and you're the first to react to it versus there's people building bottoms up models of their own predictions. From talking
Yeah,
to you, it sounds like you're maybe a mix of both. Like you definitely have the knowledge to build your own bottoms up models, but also you're
correct.
taking in information from other predictors. I guess what are your thoughts on that in terms of like what type of trades you usually do?
Yeah, I mean, I can calculate like album sales are definitely my specialty. So whenever I get one of those, the only thing that I have right now for that is just Wicked for Good, because I've been tracking the amount of sales that it'll get. There's not much liquidity in that market, so everyone wants to buy that up, you can. But again, like what you have right now is Ariana Grande having another number one album again this year. And that is just simply because she's not going to get it week one. She's going to get it week two. And it's secured, in my opinion. So I think that this market is very undervalued. But yeah, I love learning. I love all of that stuff. I think it's very important. So I talk to as many people as I can to like get their perspectives to understand how they think about certain things. And I share what I know so I can help other people too. Like is truly life-changing stuff. Like I've paid off my student loans and everything because of this. So I just want to help as many people as I can too. So I'm always willing to listen to people, you know?
That is so awesome. That's such a cool story. I mean, I just love your story because like you're not like a trader. You're not like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong if you have like a finance background or something, but like you know
No.
what I mean? Right. You're just like a pro at this like complete niche hobby and now you're in a position where you can monetize it because you're
Yeah.
actually right. I mean, it's just like this is like the coolest application ever. Um so the Ariana Grande album one, we actually talked about this. I remember on the Spaces we did a while back.
Yes.
What is like your? Because you mentioned like when you're trading, are you assigning your own probability to what you think it is, then kind of comparing it to the market, or are you just more so like you know you get a feel for it?
I do both. It depends. Like I can tell you like what everything I think is valued. Um like for sure, but some of the times I just look at like the price or the limit order that I can get, and I'm like, this is totally worth it.
Yeah.
Um, like I got in on this market probably when it was at its lowest. I don't know what that was. It was in like teens, I think.
Yeah. Like
And then
15.
you can actually see when I bet on it. So, yeah. Um, and then if it ever dips more, then I bet more on it. But this one I think is a lot easier than people think, and I think that it's actually going to be better to wait to buy in this market because when she doesn't secure it, week one with the Wicked for Good soundtrack, because this group called Stray Kids is releasing, and they've never not debuted number one on the Billboard 200. And K-pop group boy bands just sell crazy pure sales.
Hmm.
So they're gonna secure that week one. But the second week, there's not any competition at the moment. Wicked for Good has a special variation of the album going to record stores for a record store day release of 15,000 copies of like a rare vinyl of The Broom and the Wand. So that's 15K sales right there. And then this album's also available at Target, Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Republic Records site, iTunes, every single digital platform. The amount of pure sales this album will get week two after people have seen the movie will be insane. It did better in everything but sales week two last time and was still above 100K, which if you look at the market now, since Taylor Swift has released her deluxe album, I kind of think that's her last play for now until she releases the vinyls for her deluxe album, which I don't think she can get made and sent out in the amount of time it's needed for Thanksgiving week. So it's I wouldn't say this one's necessarily a lock, but I'd say this is like probably like 65%,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
So I guess like as of now, there's not a lot of other releases coming in that second week to compete with Ariana. Like, what are you going to be watching for? Like, what other album releases could potentially kind of upset this that you're thinking about?
You have So Close to What Deluxe by Tate McRae releasing, but her physicals don't ship until the spring. So I'm not really stressed about that because Wicked should outdo it in physicals, but So Close to What will have more streams most likely that second week. But I'm not really stressed about that because it's an already released album and it should be died down after a week. Love Tate McRae, shout out to her, but it should be
Hmm.
died down after a week. I don't think it'll hold one at all. But Taylor Swift is the only one that I'm looking at because she likes to play a little dirty.
Oh, yeah. She could
Yep.
release some type of like new variation of Life of a Showgirl. Is that the thought?
Yes. That's the thought, but I think she's out of plays at the moment. Because she's released all of her acoustic versions. Because her album was gonna go below 100K or be at 100K this week, but then she released the deluxe. So I think she's running out of plays until she releases the new vinyl variation of the deluxe acoustic version.
So I'm curious now, we talked about it. Like you started with 4K, you've since 10x'd it. Like what's maybe your biggest win you've ever had? Is that probably going to be Thriller or was it the
No.
Taylor Swift markets?
The Taylor Swift markets were overall my best week. This week I made about like I think five I'll make 5.2K by the next chart date. You count your weeks on Sundays, I count my weeks on Tuesdays because that's when Billboard charts come out. So
Hmm.
I'll have a calculation for you then. But one of my biggest wins was that Somber would go top 20 this year. I think I made like $5,000 off of that market alone. And then I also had a play for Die with a Smile not being number one the week Travis released, Travis Scott, because he sells a ridiculous amount of physicals as well. And Die with a Smile was at 99 cents. and I didn't have an
Did you buy at
extraordinary.
1 cent?
I bought it 1 cent, and I made $8,000.
Oh
So,
my! Wait, so that was $80 to 8,000? Like,
yep, it was
whoa!
insane. It was insane, and I was like, see, like that's
Oh,
what I'm scared. Like, what if like Billboard doesn't count all of them? But like, I just knew that that would be a good play. So I threw somebody on it. I was like, here's 80. It was when I was like first starting, so I didn't have that much money into it. But that's something that like looking back on, I'm like, damn, I wish I put like 10K on it, but it's
that is
whatever.
so
Made 8K.
insane. I am still
Yeah.
yet to have a crazy 100x. I need to up my game. I can't believe it. Foster, who I had on, who's like a mentions goat, has had so many
Yeah, he's
100x
awesome.
things where he's turned like 20K, even more than that. Like, those are like the coolest stories. And like hearing that that was possible on Culture, because like, I guess another thing for people watching, I post about, I use the word bonds a lot, and people mistake it to mean that I'm telling people to like buy anything that's 90 cents plus, but like clearly don't do that. And
Yep.
Grande's talking about where he hit 100x at 1 cent on a music market. Like, clearly it doesn't always work. But that's just crazy. $80 to 8K.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
So,
Um,
like,
yeah.
looking at your volume to profit ratio, it's pretty absurd. Like, you almost have 10% profit of your volume. Um,
Yeah.
which is crazy considering like on this Thriller one too, you're like buying this pretty high price. Like, I'd imagine your average price is around 75, 80 cents
That's
on
correct.
16K shares. So what are maybe your biggest losses you've ever had? Like, it seems like you're very low variance, but like, have you ever had big losses?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Everyone has had big losses.
Right.
This week I was so bullish on Golden going number 1 over Fate of Ophelia because I didn't think that Taylor could release another version for it to count because Billboard has a rule that you can only use 4 versions. But apparently that's not a thing anymore. We talked about this, I think, or maybe I talked about it with Gayton. But I was so sure that Golden was gonna go number 1 because I was like, I don't think that she can do anything, and people aren't seeing that, but she could. So she released
Yeah.
another version. So I lost. I got out of it, but I lost like 1,500. So that's in my total of like this week of my overall profit. I've made 5.2K this week, and I will have lost like 1.5 on just that market, you know? So you can find other ways, like it's just making yourself not get discouraged when that happens. I remember the first time I played the Billboard number 1 market, I thought that Die with a Smile would go number 1 the week earlier than it did, and Talk of the Charts even projected that too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I held my position, and they were wrong because it was like within like 2 points, I think, and that's within the margin of error. Like nothing's going to be a hundred
Right.
percent. But that was like a big loss to me at the time. Was like $600. I was like, wow, I can't believe I lost $600 on that.
Yeah.
Um, and so those are just like some stories. Like you do lose stuff, but I'm pretty accurate if I do say so myself. Like I have very good patience with things. Like I only have made like 422 predictions, and I've been doing this for a year.
Yeah. You pick your
So that's
spots.
yeah, I am very patient. I understand it, and I know what I'm good at. Um, and I have my top categories there too, and you'll see that if you click on it, I tried crypto one time and then I
Oh man.
never touched it ever again.
Hey, how are you up in sports? What is this?
um, I actually have no idea. I think it's a glitch.
Oh, it's probably like
Um,
some culture, like it's probably like the halftime or Super Bowl market or something
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that it's
yeah.
grouping.
That's it. But I occasionally bet on sports just for fun too. But I've not made a couple grand off of that. There's no way.
I'm the same. I throw some money on college football for fun, but then
Yep.
I get
You get your
scared to post my positions because then people will buy it, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
do
It's
not
just for
tail
fun.
my
Yeah.
college football guys.
I saw you say that. And I saw you bet on the Penn State game, and
uh,
that's my alma mater. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe we're finally going to beat like a top five team for the first time since 2016, and nope.
I couldn't believe that. That was like I've gone through some variants this week. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. I should have been up way more, but you know what? Speaking of losses, it's a good example. I go through a lot of losses. I mean, I definitely, but I actually, and I don't know if you have thought about this, but like,
Mhm.
um, oh wow, Logan wants Cardinals to come back in the comments, so we'll see. But I am at the stage where like I want to start taking on more risks because I'm
Yeah,
usually like I'm very conservative, probably similar to you, where like you're very
I
careful
am as
picking your
well.
spots, right? And that's evidenced by your profit to volume ratio. Um,
Yeah,
and it probably sucks in your mind when you lose. Like even though you can know conceptually, like you mentioned this week, you lost $1,500 on one bad trade, but it's like you went ahead and made almost 7K back to offset that the rest of this week. So but
correct.
I feel like I have too much cash most times, so I'm definitely trying to take more risks because I think I can improve my gross return like overall if I'm
Yeah.
taking things that are maybe not as favorable but are still favorable. Granted, it'll come with like more variance, but
Yep.
have do you
Yeah,
think
you
about
do have a
that?
lot of cash. Jesus.
I know. I gotta put some of this to. But that's why you telling me about this bond is perfect because I
Yeah.
know these bonds are out there like at 80 cents that you can
Mhm.
just you know what I mean that are just like should be priced at like 95.99. So I'm
Yep.
constantly trying to find those, and I like those a lot more than finding long shots, which I think are harder to find. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I mean, do you think about that with your trading? Like, do you want to take more risks, or do you like where you are now, or like?
I mean, I'll occasionally take risks, like here and there. I like what I'm doing. It works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am a very busy guy just in general. I'm in grad school right now,
Okay.
all paid for by Kalshi, so shout out to Kalshi.
That is so funny.
Um, and I also am, I have a full-time job and I run a Ariana Grande update account and I have a couple side jobs as well. I just constantly like working. And like I like having my time feel like it's fulfilled and giving back. So that's I'm a busy guy, you
Yeah,
know? That's what
for
I'm trying to
sure.
say.
It's an understatement.
That's what everyone says.
So, okay, I guess like for these culture ones, we've talked about a few different types of them, right? You have album sales, which I think you mentioned is like your number one type of market. You also
Yeah.
have the streaming charts, like who's going to be top for streaming.
Yep.
What other like I guess like to someone who wants to get into these music markets, like what are like the best of these like recurring markets that they can invest time to understand, talk of the charts, to understand how these streaming data works themselves? Like what are the best like recurring markets that kind of I guess you're looking at and like other music traders are like looking at? Is it like weekly streaming markets? Is it weekly album sale markets?
Yeah, so I always play every single week the Billboard Hot 100 number one, the Billboard Hot 100 number two, the Billboard 200 number one, the Billboard 200 number two. That's what I play every single week. Um, I try to stay away from the streaming ones just because I think streams are more unpredictable. I've played them a couple of times and I've gotten it. But I've also lost there too. I'm probably like a couple hundred profit off of that. But that is Gaten's specialty. So he'll send me like his like thoughts on like things and I'll tell him like things that I see and that's something that we enjoy talking about
Yeah.
together. But Like this one before Taylor released versions and everyone, it was like 50% Golden, 50% Fate of Ophelia. It's 100% Fate of Ophelia right now. So if you can buy anything in that, that's free money. Um, just
Yeah.
because that's gonna go number one no matter what. Same thing with like Thriller, and then I have two positions for the number two market, which is Golden will be number two, and Fate of Ophelia will not be number two. And I'm making $50 each there. I think I put like 500 on both. So yeah, there's those are the ones that I like play. It's obviously better to start playing them earlier rather than later because things start to get noticed by other people. There's definitely markets for if you're looking at the Billboard 200 sale stuff. Hits Daily Double is a great site to look at. They project what albums are going to be in the top 50, like every single one, and they're pretty accurate with that. Occasionally they're wrong, but that's also what Kalshi bases its album sales off of. Sorry, off of.
Hmm.
So that's another great site
How does
to look at.
Billboard Top 200 compare to Billboard Top 100? Like, do the number ones ever disagree?
Yeah, so great question. So 200 is albums,
Okay.
100 is songs. So for 200, you're looking at albums, and there hasn't really been like fantastic plays there because it's been Life of a Showgirl number one for the past 7 weeks, and K-pop Demon Hunters number two for the last like 7 weeks. So there hasn't been a lot of interest there, just because I call it the Taylor Swift effect. No one or their mother wants to release an album after Taylor Swift because she's gonna be number one for so long, you know.
Right.
So that's why there isn't as much fun with those markets, but those will get pretty fun Wicked Week and the second week of Wicked as well.
So you mentioned community and you brought up like Gayton, like how and you just mentioned in general, like talking to others about like how did you even get involved with like other Kalshi traders? Like how did you meet Gayton? I'm curious. Like
So I think I saw that he was very profitable. And I genuinely just wanted to like learn who he was. I didn't come at him like teach me all of your ways and everything. Like I didn't want to like seem like pretentious at all. So I went to him and I said, hey, like I'm blah blah blah. I said like my actual name, and I'm doing Kalshi and everything, and I saw that you're really profitable. I just want to say congratulations to you and everything. And then we just kind of like talked like for back and forth on Twitter DMs for like a long, long time. And then eventually he was like, hey, like I can start like helping you like with some of this stuff. And I was like, you really don't have to do that. Like I have my own like alphas and stuff. And he's like, no, 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 like it'll be cool. So I always call myself his protege, if you will. Like he's an awesome guy.
he is.
Just in
He's the
general.
nicest guy. If you guys are watching and don't follow Gayton Dugas, he's such a nice guy and
Such a kind guy, just in general. And that's what I found with like a lot of at least the community that I talk to,
yeah.
minus the 50 comments that I got on Kalshi. I find that most of these people are like really, really cool people.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to like talk to them and like get to know them. Like we all have a common interest in kind of predicting things, so that's just an easy basis to just talk to people in general.
Yeah, the Kalshi Discord is pretty solid. That's why I never shill my Discord because my Discord kind of sucks. I don't pay enough attention to it. But even I think the thing is it's like it's counterintuitive. You would think like this is kind of like a PvP like site where it's like everybody's fighting each other, right? Obviously, anytime
Yeah,
you make money, someone's losing money. But I think like overall, like if somebody's proven that they're sharp in one area, like they want to talk with others who are also sharp. And the other
exactly.
thing is like you get you get too big of your of positions very quickly to where you're like, you know what, I'm comfortable sharing my position because I'm not going to add to it. I have $10,000 in this. Like, I don't want to have, and then you can share like your rationale for it. And I mean, you know, I think people are careful to not like share stuff that's like repeatable and is there like specific edge, obviously, but like just sharing, like when I had Gayton on when all the Taylor Swift markets were happening, and he had probably
Yeah,
like $50,000 on Bad Bunny
I
being the
know.
number one.
He'll send me his plays sometimes. I'm like, Gate, and that scares me so much looking at your profile. I could never do that. So it's hilarious. He'll be like, "You want to see?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then it's like $75,000 on blah blah blah, and I'm like, Gaten, that's insane.
But it's smart, honestly. Like going back to like taking risks and like sizing up, like he knows he has an edge. He's proven it over such a long period of time. And, you know, because of that, he can just like throw money at it. And I mean, like even looking at these like Billboard Top 100, Billboard Top 200, like you talk about like how based on, obviously I don't know these markets at all, but based on what you're
Yeah,
seeing for like the Hot 100 market, um, it seems like Fate of Ophelia is probably like an absolute lock. Like, what would you be your fair
yeah.
value of Fate of Ophelia being number one on the Hot 100 chart? Like 99?
Yeah, it's 100%. I'm not even stressed about 99. We can just say it's 100%.
Yeah. So it's
I
like
know that it's low.
there's still shares at like 94, 96, which are like,
Crazy.
which is, but then going back to what I was saying about like wanting to bond stuff, and this is why I want to get into like culture markets more, is like, if I get to the point where I'm confident I do my own research, it's like if there's consistently markets like this, I could just throw up a $10,000 bid at 90 cents and then maybe I get filled a few thousand shares, but everything adds up, you know? So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So let's see what other, I mean, we talked about the album one. I guess Cardi B's an interesting one that like you've had some crazy gains on. You're up 5,400 unrealized in her performing at the halftime show. What is
Yeah.
this?
So Bad Bunny's obviously doing the halftime show, and his biggest song in the United States is "I Like It," and that is Cardi B's song. And he already went to the Super Bowl and performed it with Jennifer Lopez when she did it. So there's no reason why I think Cardi B should not come out and perform. She'll have had her baby. She'll be 3 days out from her own tour, so she'll be ready to go. And it's I think it's just way I think it's underpriced still. Like I would say it's like 70% chance that she comes out and performs. I think that he is someone that will need like a special guest just for people to like stay tuned in, and I think that Cardi B um performing I like it or I like that is very 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 likely, especially since she also sings it in English, and that's like I think one of his only, if not his only song that he is featured on that is in English. So that's the thought process there.
Yeah. So what's crazy about this market too is like after Bad Bunny was announced as the headliner, this market tanked to 1% because people like
Yep.
misunderstood that this was a market where multiple people can perform at halftime. There was a separate market for who'd be the headliner. So you could have gotten in at almost 100x. It looks like based on the chart. I don't know how much liquidity there was, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I gotta hop in there for that. And I just think that it's way more likely, and I still think that the odds will go up. Like I said, at least to 70%. And there's still so much time before the halftime show, before he even starts rehearsing. So I'm holding that. I
People are
can
saying
get a
she
nice.
said she won't perform. Do you have any
That's not
retort to
true.
that? Not true. Sean, that's not true. Uh,
um, the rapper that said she would not perform is Nicki Minaj, not Cardi B.
wow, Sean, come on. You can't be adding Grande and not have receipts ready. I'm kidding, but
Yeah.
okay. Another market people are asking about, if you have an opinion on, is
Yeah.
Drake releasing Iceman. Do you have any opinion on when
I've
this
got
album comes out?
I think that he's running out of time for this year. He's Drake, so he can drop whenever the hell he wants and get into it. But if you're looking at everything, I don't think he will drop during Christmas season. I can't imagine because he has been very adamant on being upset that he has not gotten a number one recently on the Billboard Hot 100. So if I had to give my best guess, it would be that it's not coming this month or even this year. That's just my opinion. He can very obviously release whenever he wants. He's notorious for that. He's one of the few artists that can do that. But I do think that after his song with Central C bombed, I think that he kind of had to go back to the drawing board a little bit, and then Taylor released. So he's kind of just sitting and waiting. So
Interesting.
I think that's going to be like a January.
Yeah. Well, Grande, this has been a pleasure. Are there any, like, I guess, are there any tips that you would have to new traders? Maybe some specific to culture, but any specific, yeah, maybe if anyone wants to get into culture, but then also just anyone who wants to get into trading on Kalshi in general.
Yeah, I would say it takes a second to learn. So don't, if you're at a loss, like initially, don't get scared. I mean, I was in the negatives, negative 800 at one point when I lost that Billboard Hot 100 market when that was like my first bet on it. So if you know that you can find your niche and your niche is on there, then that's what you go for. Stick to what you know, stick to what you're confident
100%.
in, and you'll be successful. That I'm living proof of that. You're living proof of that. Several people are living proof of that. So I just say go with your most knowledgeable opinions, and you'll definitely find it on Kalshi because it has literally everything.
Yeah. Well, any last thoughts you want to leave to the viewers before you go?
Yeah. So, if you're a verified follower, follow me so I can make more money than
Yeah.
the guy that's on the screen right now.
Grande
That'd be
was angry
great.
about my X payout, guys. So we got to get Grande's verified followers up.
But no, but I'm just messing. But no, it's been great talking to you. There's very few people that I would hop on a stream and kind of just talk with. So that's props to you and your character. So
I
shout
appreciate
out to
that.
you. And if I'm ever in New York at some point, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, let's do it. 100%. Guys, I'm showing his Twitter on my stream. The Grande Top 10. The Music Goat up there with Gayton on Kalshi. Gayton's protege, I should call.
I love the title.
Well, thank you again, Grande. Really appreciate having you on.
Of course. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye. Um. Okay. Before somebody is saying, I mean that was great, but wait, what is this with Loxy on CNBC? Wait, where is this? I was looking at Cardi B Super Bowl. I don't know, guys, on Cardi B Super Bowl. Okay, I trust Grande, but maybe uh this is people.com. I don't know, maybe that's wait, what is this? Loxy on CNBC. I want to see this.
Somebody tweeted this at me, betting during the White House press briefing on the next word that Caroline Leavitt will say. And one guy had bet $700 that the next word was going to be China. And I asked her a question about China.
Kidding me.
And he was like celebrating
This
online.
is not
and
real.
tweeting it
You asked him
out
a
and
question
screaming.
about
He was
China
live
because
streaming
you
himself betting.
You asked her
No,
a
I
question.
didn't, but
that
this
was
opens
that
up
was
a whole new
coincidental.
revenue stream
Is
for
this
me,
really
right?
Loxy?
Oh,
Wait.
man. Don't even joke about that. I mean,
Somebody tweeted this at me, betting during the White House press briefing on the
That is not real. Are you kidding me? Where's the tweet, Loxy? Wait. Did you who added him? Wait, was that Foster? Did you at the reporter? Was that when you were telling me you added the White House reporter? Oh my gosh. That is so funny. Holy cow, that is legendary. The mention market lore is getting too crazy, guys. Like, this is getting way too crazy. Wait, do they actually...
Now the Supreme Court's going to hear a challenge to President Trump's tariff policy. And Eamon Javers, you can also look at
Do they
this.
name Loxy at all or no?
Joins us now with more on the case.
It is kind of ridiculous the things you could place money on at this point. Forget about free throws in the NBA. Trying to get a CEO to say something in an earnings call. I forget which CEO said something the other. Maybe it was Coinbase. Somebody said something the other day and ticked off every single. The last answer that he gave was every single.
Oh, they don't name him?
Word that there was a bet on him whether or not he would say it on the earnings call. Just used a sentence and used every one of those things. It's insane.
I personally,
and we have reached crazy places.
Yeah, I personally think people need a new hobby.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Supreme Court, which is why
Oh,
I'm here
wait.
this morning. So look, it is going to be an enormously high stakes day at the Supreme
Yeah,
Court
this
today,
is
as you guys were just saying. President Trump
insane.
says he's not going to attend today's oral arguments after all, but Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is expected to be seated in the front row today. And President Trump says he believes this is going to be one of the most important decisions ever made by the Supreme Court.
Wait, I need to, like, Loxy, I need to tweet it. Like, people need to know, like, do people... Okay, are people quote tweeting this with, like, the explanations? Like, this
Somebody
should
tweeted this at
break,
me.
like,
Betting.
1 million. Oh my gosh. I can't see it on my phone. How do I see who's quote tweeting this? What are the quote tweets? Are people quote tweeting this with the, like... Wait, Foster, have you posted the... Like, people need to quote tweet this with, like, the actual, like, tweets people are doing. This is, like, legendary. The grind is real, JC. Live every day means something. JC, did you see this? Are you just tuning in now? Loxy was just shouted out on
Betting
CNBC.
during the White House press briefing on the next word that Caroline Leavitt will say. And one guy had bet $700 that the next word was going to be China. And I asked her a question about China. And he was like celebrating online and tweeting
you
it
asked
out
him a
and
question
screaming.
about
He was
China
live
because
streaming
you knew?
himself betting.
You asked her
No,
a
I
question.
didn't. But
that
this
was just-
opens
that
up
was
a whole new
coincidental.
revenue stream for me, right?
All right, no one's giving context. All right, I'm going to drop... We're going to make a banger tweet right now, live. Here we go. Let me edit this. Foster, can you send me your comment where you were saying this? Let me find this. This has to be, like, viral as hell. This is insane. This is hilarious. All right, I'm gonna pull down the stream because I need to clip this. This is too legendary. This is too good. We will be back tomorrow, guys, for more mentions.